All right. Last and final section of the day, interview preparation. I am going to kick it off with a very simple question, but it also, I guess, could be complex because it's quite broad. How does a person stand out during the interview process? Are there any preparation frameworks that you'd suggest folks look into?
I'll
Yeah, I
start.
think in general,
Oh,
you want to go
go ahead.
first, Julian?
No, let me go first. I'm sorry. I
Yep.
look at when you apply for a job, there's two phases, right? You have your application, then your foot in the door, and then you have the interview. So for me, as a hiring manager, I'll argue that the interview is actually more important than the resume. So the resume gets you in the door, the interview then really lands you off. And one of the biggest problems I see in interviews is that people are not prepared. And by prepared, I don't mean they can answer some basic questions that we might talk about, but think about the job that you're interviewing for. When I ask you, do you have any questions for me? Have some questions for me, because by having questions, that means you thought about this job. A lot of times people come in interviews and they might have prepared all the standard questions, why should I hire you? What's your strength? What's your weakness? But when you then talk a little bit about the job and the expectations, what are they looking for in this particular job? A lot of times the interview doesn't go so well anymore because they really weren't prepared to talk about the job itself. So it is 2025. We have a thing called the internet. We work for Siemens. I work for Siemens Mobility. You can go online and you can figure out what is it that we do. You can look for news articles about us. You can go to our website and really understand who am I applying to. Get an understanding. Again, you might not know me as a person unless you look me up on LinkedIn, but at least come in understanding maybe some of the business. Maybe I had a person once ask me about a news article they saw. I was so impressed. I said, hey, I saw this in the news about Siemens Mobility. Is this something that will bring business to your factory? Now, the answer was no, and they would not have known that. But what a great question that was to ask me in the interview, because this means the person did some research on what am I applying for? Is this a company that I want to work for? So preparing for an interview, there's a lot of things that go into it. Again, there will be a lot of standard questions that we'll talk about, but the point is to come in, understand what am I really applying for? What is the job? What is the company? And then having a discussion with me exactly about it. So being prepared, again, is not just about telling me your strength and your weakness. It's really showing me in those 30 minutes, those 60 minutes, whatever you might have, that you are a person that I should hire, not just based on the skill set, but also because you have interest in the job.
Yeah, that's a great point, Julian. Definitely making sure that you've reviewed company information, the job description, and that you have questions prepared for your interviewer. Even if it's just tell me about your own career path and what that's looked like. Interviewers love to share about themselves too. So those are definitely all great tips. For more of a general framework, I recommend following the behavioral triangle. Most folks have also heard of STAR, very similar, but the behavioral triangle is kind of a simplified version of that model.
Thank you for watching. To learn more about this topic, check out the links in the description. And if you enjoyed what you saw, like the video and subscribe to the channel.